You know what the next game's going to be, Kyle? Do you know what's going to be the next game? According to a Mr. Rashard Mendenhall, it seems to
Oh.
be we're going to have an all-white NFL team versus an all-black NFL team. What does that mean?
What an intro.
That means no Puka Nakua. That means no Pacific Island. No. What's the lineman from the Lions? What's his name? The really good one.
Aiden Hutchinson?
Nope. The lineman, the offensive lineman. Sorry.
Oh, Penei Sewell?
Penei Sewell. None of those guys are going to be in this white versus black NFL game. This is apparently what Rashard Mendenhall
This is where we're at right now.
This is where we're at. No, like, look, and Kyle and I were talking about this beforehand because I brought it up to him. I was like, I feel like we need to say something because this is just such a ridiculous statement by Rashard Mendenhall. And I'll read you exactly what he tweeted out. So on his X profile, I'm sick of average white guys commenting on football. Y'all not even good at football. Can we please replace the Pro Bowl with an all black versus all white bowl so these cats can stop trying to teach me who's good at football? I'm better than your GOAT, than your greatest of all time. I don't know where to start with this stuff because Rashard Mendenhall, NFL player, and this is kind of just like, is like us again talking about last week or however long ago it was about Cam Newton or last episode talking about Cam Newton, what he said about Brock Purdy and all these game manager quarterbacks. This is just another ridiculous statement by another ex-NFLer. Again, like Kyle said last episode, these guys have earned the right to say and speak their minds on the NFL because one, they have worked hard enough to get there all through high school, all through college, and then into the NFL. They've worked hard to get there. Rashard Mendenhall was on the Steelers, rushed, was one of the better running backs in his time there too, and even went to a Super Bowl. But to say something is crazy and as ridiculous as an all white versus an all black, so we can prove we're better than you, it's just ridiculous. It's not even like it's a race thing, I guess, in this sense. But to me, it's just such a ridiculous statement because JJ Watt, and Kyle read this again before we started the episode. What did JJ Watt said? Like, he's having fun with it because he made a joke about it, right?
Yeah, he was trying to not make a big deal about it, and he was talking about how he was basically saying, here, let me just pull it up because with the subject, I don't want to paraphrase anything. He said, okay, so this guy said, ignoring the blatant racism, God forbid a white guy stands up for himself. Now, this is what somebody replied to JJ Watt because JJ Watt commented on Rashard Mendenhall's post and basically said something about
white corners would get cooked.
White corners, yeah, thank you. White corners would totally get cooked. Yeah. Oh yeah, he said we'd get cooked at corner, not gonna lie. Nobody on our squad is covering Tyreek. Yeah. Which is true. I mean, yeah. I mean, you barely
nobody in general
barely have anybody covering Tyreek.
Exactly.
Least of the one white corner that we have in the NFL. I just don't see it. But so it's funny because it's also an asinine comment, and sometimes the only thing to do is, I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess this guy was mad that like JJ Watt, you are a white superhero, and you are literally in the Hall of Fame. You're going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You are supposed to be like, hey, what the fuck, dude? Like, stand up for yourself. Don't get punked like that. Yeah. And then this is what JJ said when he said, listen, buddy. We don't need to be offended by everything in the entire world. He said white guys can't play football. I thought to myself, I'm a white guy. I'm very good at football, and concluded that his statement had no validity. Yep. Instead of arguing, I had some fun. The end, not the end, just end.
Yeah.
And like, I'm one of those. I don't want to say I try to give the benefit of the doubt, but I definitely need context because we definitely live in a world where, I mean, so if our podcast gets big enough, it'll probably happen to me at some point. Like, I mean, it could happen to anybody where they just like pick and choose, like, oh God, that sounds terrible out of context. But like
absolutely.
because you don't read tone, you don't read sarcasm, you know, they'll just put the words in front of you and you read it like pretty aggressive because it's kind of an asshole move. So you're like, segregate? Well, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And I'm definitely, and then look, this is where the line ends though. Like you read a comment like that and it's like, I don't even need context. Like, that's not one of those that's like, oh, I maybe could, no, like,
satire, maybe? No.
yeah, no, that was just, that's just awful. And he
Yeah.
should keep those type of thoughts to himself,
Mhm.
especially because nobody is going to, you're not convincing anybody that that's true because people that love football know that there are plenty of white people that are going to go, you know, I mean, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, not just quarterbacks,
Mhm.
Jason Sehorn, Wes Walker, Amendola, Kevin Walter. I mean, there's
Who's the GM for the
Brian
49ers?
Urlacher, John Lynch.
John Lynch, one
I
of the
mean,
hardest hitting safeties in the fucking game.
John Elway. It's like, what do you
Yeah.
think, you know, what do you think the NFL was in the 50s? You know, like, but in all seriousness,
Yeah.
it was a stupid ass thing to say. And I'm pretty sure if he doesn't regret it, then that's even worse. But I don't know if he had said anything like
Yeah.
publicly since this, but he might have to say something about it, like, or if he just ignored it. But also, who the fuck is Rashard Mendenhall? Like like first off, I know who you are because you were good
Yeah.
enough for me to know you are. But let's
Yeah.
not act like this is fucking you know, the all-time great from the Giants, the defense Taylor,
Oh,
um
LT, Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's not act like Lawrence Taylor just like got up and said this. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Rashawn Mendenhall said this.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. You
Mhm.
know, that's like if like let me think who would be a really good example of this.
That
Would be like
to me, this is like God, what's the name of the one safety the Bears had? I can't remember his name.
Eddie Lacy came out with
Eddie Lacy.
it's like all right, Eddie Lacy.
If
I mean, who do you think you are? You're better than our GOAT? Like, you're not
yeah.
that great, dude.
It'd be like if Ryan Leaf came on and was like, I don't know, man, the quarterback position seems to be struggling right now. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Eh,
And you know what's funny about all of this? You know, Rashard Mendenhall, a lot of people are like, who the fuck is this guy? Blah, 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 right? This guy saying this, like about how we're, you know, the white, all white versus all black. His first play, his first touch of the ball in that Super Bowl against the Packers, he got he got tackled by Clay Matthews and fumbled the ball to turn it over to the Packers.
oh my
And
god.
people replied with that, and I was like, "Oh no, he just got cooked." It's
Just
so
buried yourself alive.
you did, and it's so a couple things. It's funny because I was just talking about Sidney Brown, Witherspoon, Chase Brown, all being from the University of Illinois, playing really well this season with the Seahawks and with the Bengals, respectively, right? Rashard Mendenhall is a U of I grad as well, and he came to the Steelers. I'm like, fuck, what the hell, dude? You had to really ruin it. Anyway, I just feel like this comes right at the cusp of what Cam Newton said about quarterbacks and being game managers and why are these guys MVPs, right? Again, they deserve to be able to talk about this, about, you know, there's certain positions and have certain comments and have certain, you know, size they're going to take because they played, you know, like I said at the beginning, they played in the NFL. They worked hard to get there. But there's just some things that you're just, that like you said, you're going to regret. Rashard Mendenhall probably doesn't regret it right now, but in the future, he's going to be like, yeah, that was kind of stupid. I was younger. Just say some dumb shit. So
Way too old for this shit. But
yeah,
whatever.
also that.
Growth is growth. But if I'll leave with this quote, which I was told probably at like kindergarten. And this is how dumb this conversation is, that we have to use kindergarten quotes. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. If Cam Newton is that upset about what Brock Purdy's doing, then maybe he should come into the NFL. Oh yeah, nobody wants him.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't, it's like you don't want to be rude to people, but it's like you get what you give. Like, like if you're going to be a dickhead, like, we're going to have to call you out on that. Like, we don't want to. Nobody woke up and was like, oh man, let's, attack Cam Newton or Rashard Mendenhall today. But two people putting themselves in the spotlight, saying things that are blatantly just not true. And yeah, we won't spend any more time talking about it.
Yeah. And I just don't like that he's just coming at people who comment on how people play football. It's like, dude, you play football, you get to say these comments. Guess what? There's an entire industry based on people talking about your performances. There's
how many white guys are wearing your jersey?
Yeah, man. It doesn't matter. Like it's everybody of every race. For example, the Only Football Podcast. You got a Mexican guy and you got a white guy. Like, we are able to comment on it because we spend money on gear. We watch the games. We bleed, Bears and Denver orange. You know what I mean? Like, we do that. That's why we have this, platform to do it, So if you don't like it, turn everything off, go live on a fucking island with no internet and be done with it. Live happier, man. Because if I wanted to not be as miserable as I am as a Bears fan, I wouldn't watch games. But guess what? I fucking love it. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do, dude? Just do what I say or fucking live with it.
Football is America. I wanted to, yeah.
America is football. Football is America.
Football is America. And if you don't like it, you can kiss your candy ass all the way back to wherever you came from.
All right. Like Kyle said,
Dwayne Johnson. Can you smell?
Dwayne The Rock
is cooking.
Is cooking. And like Kyle said, that is all we will say on that. But I feel like we needed to comment on it because something that happened. And Cam Newton said some crazy wild shit earlier that we talked about too. But